Soul Seers, and welcome to SeeJamieSim. I'm Jamie, and today we're going to be working on Velvet Bee's 4-pack shell challenge. Super excited for this one. Velvet Bee always does a lot of really fun ones. And here we are just adjusting the roof. So the 4 packs that I decided to build with besides base game was Snowy Escape, Dine Out, Businesses and Hobbies, and Crystal Creations. So here I am building in Mount Komorebi and just trying to get these pitched roofs. I normally, when I look around, the world where I'm building, I normally try and make sure I match it somewhat, but I really wanted to do like a old Japanese looking place because my plan is to have 2 businesses downstairs and 2 apartments upstairs. And this is a pretty small shell. Actually, these things that I'm putting up now, I actually get rid of because I decide I don't want to do for rent. I want to do dine out. So those go away. Don't worry about that. So I had decided I wanted to do 2 businesses. And me trying to get the pitches of these roofs was ridiculous. You can even sped up so much. You can see exactly how much time I spent with this roof. And I like the way Velvet Bee does her roofs. I hardly ever worry about the kind of undercutting on the roofs, but I decided that I was going to worry about it today because I really wanted it to look as authentic as possible. So she did a wonderful roofing job, and I just kind of followed along with that once I was deciding, what and where and whatnot I wanted to do. She actually does a great job roofing. She's one of the only creators that does your roofing for you on a lot of these, so I always really appreciate her that way. Here we are trying to decide what our building is going to look like, and so far I have not changed packs yet. And if you do want to build with minimal packs, you can go onto JamesTurner.yt and you can go to disable packs, and he gives you a code that you can put in on your EA app to disable packs that you don't want, which is what I did this time, because when I tried to do the 3-pack 3-story shell challenge, I ended up using more than 3, and I was a little bummed that I kind of didn't stick with the plan. So this one I do stick with the plan here. But yeah, James Turner has a bunch of really fun tools that you can use, so I highly recommend going and checking that out. I'm sure if you're watching this, you've heard of James Turner. I mean, he's a really famous simmer. So anyway, so we have Miss Velvet Bee's stuff today. So I'm trying to decide right now what exactly this is going to look like, because I want to make it, because it's in the city, I want to make it look like it is in the city. So I thought I would just do a little bit of green spaces, kind of how you see around in the neighborhood where it's mostly cement and then there's just a few green spaces that are fenced off. So that's going to be my plan for this. I end up changing my ideas for these businesses over and over and over, because for rent, I thought, I put a restaurant in or a cash register or something, and I realize about, I don't know, a little bit into this that I need dine out in order to really do what I want to do. So I end up swapping for rent for dine out. So, but you can tell that I'm using most of Snowy Escape's outside and decoration for this, and I end up using a lot of Snowy Escape. That's probably the most used pack that I did here. So, and my original thought was I'll put in a restaurant, a pottery place, and I will put in maybe a smaller business somewhere down there. And as I'm doing all this, and don't worry, I take out like all of these doors. So I proceed to do absolutely, yeah, I end up hating that. So yeah, there was a lot of trial and error with this one. I don't build with Snowy Escape a lot, but I love the Snowy Escape pack. I actually did a temple garden, and that's I'll try, and at the end of this I will put up the video for that, just so you can kind of see another build that I did in Mount Kimarabi. Anyway, so here we are. I changed the doors. I am trying to decide where my businesses are going, what the hallways are doing. And you can see that it's not a super huge space. I think if I were building a home, it would be very spacious, but I need to put in 2 sets of stairs, which you will see when I put those in that I hate doing stairs. I wish that they just fit better. Or we had spiral staircases. That would make me so happy, but we do not have that, so sad times. You can see here that I'm still considering doing an apartment downstairs and one upstairs. And I put the kibosh on that pretty quickly here. And so here I am trying to decide on if I want to put the stairs outside or inside. My original thought is, maybe I can get these here, and nope. It is nope. And I end up hating it a lot, so I delete these and I go, maybe I can go from this side. Nope. I hate the look of it, so I don't end up doing that either. I know. Me and the stairs. It's always me and stairs for every build. So then I'm like, nope, I got to put it inside. So here I am attempting that. And don't worry, those stairs change spots. So, yep, I just keep doing that over and over and over again as I'm trying to narrow down what is going on down here. And I'm still keeping the idea that I might have 3 businesses, but I put an end to that too. I'm not sure how super thrilled I was to I'm trying to keep from putting the stairs in the middle of the house, because that doesn't make much sense, and the stairs stay there for this business. And so I keep that, and I decide not to go with any handrails because I really didn't like the look of it for the shop. So I guess, take your life in your hands as you're walking upstairs. And so here we are, just trying to decide, what we're doing and saving, because that's the major craziness. And here I am placing the benches outside and trying to place some of the building stuff. Just a quick little, here's what I do there's what I did for the kitchen, and we have an outside restroom now, and we have the benches for the restaurant, because there's really not a lot of space to eat inside. So you really have to think about like Japan, and there are little spaces for you to eat, but a lot of it is like outside, and probably, for this place it's a little bit nicer, so I put nicer benches out. I was tempted to put like the plastic chairs outside, but I decided not to do that just because I just thought this looked nicer. And I kind of wanted it to be a little more upscale since they are going to be like having signs to advertise and all of that. So, and also I could not fit restrooms in these businesses, so I had to put one for the public outside. And here we are starting with the pottery and antique store. It's Imari Antiques, I think, is what I decided to go with, and Yume Ramen. So I am kind of debating what I want to do, because I want, if the person is working, I want them to be able to see when customers come in. So I try, because it's also an antique place, so, if you're keeping antiques out all the time, you kind of want to be able to keep an eye on everything. So, yeah, so pottery and antiques is what I decided to go with. And I'm really glad I did, because I had so much fun cluttering up this place. It made me so happy how cluttered it is. I think that's very much a simmer thing, is just, you just love the clutter. You do. You just love it. So here I am trying to make like a little showroom that you can also get around. And I knew I was going to do a lot of pottery, obviously, but I also wanted, yeah, I hope I don't make you sick by how many turns this is, because I'm trying to keep an eye on the walls, and like, it's kind of a love-hate relationship with trying to keep all these walls and decorations and whatnot and still be able to see. So I'm starting to clutter it up here, which, again, like I said, I am always so happy when I get to clutter stuff. So I'm putting a few plants out, which it does have a bunch of plants. So, just kind of putting up some decorations and just making it welcoming. I figured, if this is a small shop and it has like a bunch of stuff, it's going to look really, really like compact. So I wanted to put in as many things as I could. And here I am, just as I like run through things, I try and get it all going. And then I find something else, and then I'm like, oh, gotta do that. I'm glad that I put these on. I think it makes the building look a little bit more complete with having the awnings. And I really, really like the look of it. And we have the two different signs outside. And here I am trying to decide. I wanted to put a couple of like little shrines just to show that, it's the old and the new. And also those street signs, just because. And again, I'm just trying to block this off a little, just because I want it to blend into the neighborhood, but also old, new, all of that. So I definitely have lots of fun with this. It's actually one of my favorite builds I've done in a little bit, and hopefully if you guys download it, you'll want to play with it. And you can definitely do like for rent, and if it's not being all buggy, which we all know it is. But businesses and hobbies, you can set up the businesses downstairs and the apartments upstairs, which would be good. Or if you want to run it like like you're a landlord, you can make both of them two different units. So anyway, I'm sure it will adjust to whatever gameplay you have going on. So, but yeah, I was really trying to really put in the old and the new. I wanted it to remind people of, actual Japan. So so we have like the more traditional side and the more modern side for decorations, and I realize I can't put any of those there because it blocks everything and nobody will be able to get there. So here we are, just putting a couple of umbrellas out and testing out the light to see where the umbrella shadow is going to fall. And then I realize, well, it doesn't matter because I can't move it. And how much do I love these fish things? I love them so much. And I also realize they need to face the same way because they are windsocks. I end up keeping these signs. I really, really liked them. So keeping those signs there. And here we are. Yeah, we're going for more like pottery-ish in here. I just wanted them to be able to really show off what they do and what they've done. And can't put the tree inside, so that's going to go outside. Because no matter what I do, it didn't fit. So there we are there. And just placing some clutter. A lot of this clutter gets moved because there is just so much in this space. And I move around everything over and over and over again. So here we are trying to place this big statue, which I really, really wanted. I know it's for the tattooing, but I really, really wanted it. And I'm also going to place this one, which is one of my favorites. I actually put that in a lot of my builds. I just find it just so adorable. And so here we are placing some antiques by pack. So we are, yeah, just placing clutter. It's pretty easy. I love that phone. That was one of the really good things that came with the time travel back to the past thing was that phone. I use that a lot now, even though everybody has cell phones, so you know what's the point. But I'm not sure if I keep that, but I do know I keep this stuff underneath here. I just think I put it in a different spot. Yes. Yeah, I do not keep that stuff. I end up putting more ceramics there when I do debug, which if you are cluttering up a space, using debug stuff is invaluable. I just use it all the time, and you can find all the finished pieces of pottery from businesses and hobbies, and you can find all of the foliage from the world, say for Mount Komorebi, and it just really makes your world come alive, I think. Here we are with how much cluttery stuff that I've done in there. And I just didn't want to waste everybody's time when you watch me place every single thing of clutter. But here we are working on the restaurant next door now. And, just kind of decorating it. Yeah, you can see all of my little decoraties things in there, and all of the pottery that I'm now putting in, and doing that whole thing. And we are, just placing some pottery out, just as sets. Like, I figured if you were making pottery like dishes, you'd want to keep colors with light colors and the same kinds with that. I struggled a little with the restaurant trying to decide on how fancy I wanted to make it, and I think I struck a nice balance with modern and you may be wondering why I'm putting the storage upstairs. And it is because restaurants always have a ton of stuff. So I figured if somebody owns this restaurant, they are keeping the restaurant stuff wherever they can stash it. So, and it just happens to be in their home upstairs, which pretty normal if you're running a restaurant out of your home or your home is like right upstairs. So I figured it was totally natural that you would have, your spirits or nectar or whatever you want to call it, and your storage bins for all the dry goods would be upstairs, while downstairs you're keeping the refrigerated stuff. So, and I put in a fire safety thing so that everything doesn't go up in flames, because if I have to redecorate this, I would cry. If you are going to download this, it's probably good to download and make sure you have all the packs, because I used a ton of packs in this. Well, actually, no, I used 4 packs in this, but I used a ton of stuff from those packs. So you guys, if you want to download this, you would just use Snowy Escape, Dine Out, Businesses and Hobbies, and Crystal Creations, just as a aside, so you know what to do here. So per usual, as I am building, I realize I do not have a bathroom in this place. Neither apartment has a bathroom. Neither business has a bathroom. And I'm like, oh no. I am still finishing the kitchen here, but I will realize it as I'm building and trying to clutter up the world that I have made a grave mistake. Yeah, so I had so much fun cluttering up this place. I know I keep saying it, but I just love clutter. It makes me so happy. Though I was working on another build and I went in to start working on it again, and all of the clutter that I had done a closet, so there's a ton of clutter, ton of different modular things in there, and it had all gone to inventory. So now I have to clutter up that closet again, and I almost had an aneurysm. I was just like, are you kidding me? I spent like 30 minutes on this closet. And now I have to do it again, which, is just buggy Sims game, pretty much. We all have experienced that. And with the update, because this is coming out after the newest update for bug fixes, and I could not believe that it just put everything in my inventory after I had worked so hard on it. I was just like, oh, Sims. So just cluttering up the kitchen a little bit. I didn't have the option to make this like a grubby kitchen. I really wanted to, but then I did not have enough stuff to make it like with the stains and everything, and which I'm sure is better, because when you walk into a place and you're just like, what is going on here? So they have a tea maker, they have the cooking station, they have the fridge, and they have a hot pot thing. So I am still cluttering. I didn't want to take up all your time with clutter on the other side, because it took me so long. But yet, here I am, still cluttering all the clutter. And now we're starting to work outside, because I am like Doug from Up, where it's just like squirrel. So I just change what I'm working on all the time. I think I do a lot of the landscaping actually off camera, just because it was getting a little bit long. Even sped up, this is over 30 minutes. So anyway, I am just trying to make it look as welcoming as possible, and eyeing this a little bit. and trying to decide where I can make improvements. And here we are, more clutter. You can see I go from clutter, clutter, clutter to outdoor trees and then back to clutter. You can see the ADHD process, right? And I decide to put all the jars up here, just keep them organized. And I now know that I need to make a bathroom. So I absolutely lose my mind over it. And I make the smallest bathroom, and it doesn't have a sink. It has a toilet and it has a shower. That is all. Because how on earth am I going to fit a sink in there, right? Because it still needs a door. You know what I'd really like? I really would like more doors that are like bead curtains or like curtains. I would really like that a lot. And then I realized since I put a bathroom on that side, I need to put a bathroom on this side, which is also going to be kind of a small bathroom, but it's 4 tiles wide, so it's more than enough space to fit everything here. And I use the same door, I think, but black, yeah. So here we are looking at our bathroom, and I realize I need to clutter this also. And so next door is 2 people living there running the restaurant. And I decided that the business owner for the antique shop is kind of a single girl who's taken over her family's business. So made sure I did that. And so I'm kind of decorating with that in mind. Yeah, so where I'm using the lighter wood next door, I'm doing more black counter stuff on this side. And, of course, I really wish that whenever they came out with new cabinets, they would, or, new counters, they'd come out with matching cabinets, because that would really, really be great for me and everybody. We would really like that, because trying to match cabinets is rough when you don't have, they don't look alike. And there's not a lot of cabinets compared to countertops. So a lot more of that would be super great. So if anybody from the Sims team sees this, please make more cabinets. And so here I am working on the landscaping. I skipped a lot of it because, I was just fiddling around. But here we are handling the back area and kind of getting all of this taken care of. And I decided that the 2 different sides were going to have 2 different types of gardens. This one was going to be more like decorated with the pottery stuff and plants, and next door was going to have less of that. And then the back was going to have more like wildflowers. So here we are. I think this is where I start cluttering everything again. And, just like some poofs, just so friends, when they come over, can sit down. And, I lived in a very small apartment when I first moved out of my mom's house. So I remember having to keep, little modular furniture that turns into places to sit. And yeah, I was just kind of exploring what I wanted to do. And, it's always hard to know when too much clutter versus just enough clutter. I decided that this was not enough clutter. And so I did the outside with one side fancy, like I said, and one side a little bit less taken care of. And then I did the back with a little bit more, not culture, but like curatedness, just because that's where all of your customers are going to be for the restaurant. So I wanted that to look a little bit nicer than the front, because all of the upkeep for the neighborhood, you can kind of tell the very front areas with the trees that I had done, it is, that's way less taken care of. So I kind of just wanted to give the illusion that, oh, this side is taking care of this person, this side is taking care of this person, and this is taken care of by the city, and they don't do a good job with that. So, just so you can kind of get it into your head that you're just like you're in a city and trying to get somebody to do something. So I do hope that you guys are enjoying the video. If you are, please like, comment, subscribe, or share. That really, really helps me out, and I really appreciate it. I do stream Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays over on Twitch, and you can catch them here later on YouTube. Let's see, what else do we have? If you do find any really cool build challenges that you think that I should check out, please put them in the comments. You can tell this is kind of like a build and cast challenge channel, just because I really enjoy it. We are going to be doing our Let's Plays, so keep a lookout for that on Twitch and on YouTube. We have 2 different Let's Plays. We have the Bridgerton Challenge over on Twitch. We have the Ultimate Decades Challenge here on YouTube. Let's see, and that might be it for announcements. So here we are, just finishing cluttering the counters on. I'm finding more cluttery stuff. That's what I'm doing. Yeah, so just kind of placing things where they will, and trying to find some dishes, because I really wanted dishes underneath the sink. And that's a teapot and some tea glasses. Yeah. So just kind of trying to keep a little bit, like somebody lives here. That's the goal, because, this is all for your Sims, and you want them to have as rich a life as possible. So that's why it's important to put clutter in your builds. If you are not a clutter person, I completely understand, but I just think it adds to it. Plus, the Sims like it. They get happy in the areas with having a whole bunch of stuff. They're just like, yay, the environment's awesome. But yeah, so if you'll remember just to, click the thumbs up, that would be great. Or the bell if you want to see when I have new content coming out. Let's finish up with these bathrooms and making it look lived in. Again, this one is owned by the former owner's daughter. This is a little bit of a family here, so having all of that works out pretty well. And I put some towels here just because there's no space for it anywhere else. And here we are with our build, just doing some of the terrain paint just so it looks a little bit more natural. Here's our shops, our apartments, the bathrooms. Yeah. So anyway, this is our build. Look how great it looks. Thank you for watching. I appreciate you coming and checking out the channel. You can find me on Twitch, Instagram, Blue Sky. SeeJamieSim. If you would like to see another Japanese build, I am going to put it up there on the Want to See More. I hope you guys have a great day, and thanks for checking out the channel. Bye-bye.